Welcome to the Good Karma Pet Adoption Center webinar for Dog Body Language and Shelter 101. Okay, let's get started with the stress escalation ladder. We know that a bite doesn't come from just nowhere at all. We all often have many warnings. A dog is trying to let us know, I need space, I'm unsure, I'm scared, I really want nothing to do with you or this situation, I'd rather be somewhere else. And ultimately, if I have to, I will take care of it. And so we start out with certain behaviors like displacement behaviors with sniffing the ground, scratching, moving to calming signals like yawning, lip licking, looking away, turning away, moving away if possible. Then we have stress reactions like panting, pupil dilation, shaking off of adrenaline, sweaty paws, trembling, whale eyes, and the hackling of fur. And we move on up to focus with this hard stare, loss of calming signals, a closed tight mouth, a body freeze. Escalating to preparing to defend with showing teeth and growling, then potentially a lunge, and next a bite. So some of these stages might be skipped, some of these stages move very quickly, but if we're paying attention, the dogs tell us everything we need to know from the beginning. As a dog enters a new situation or a new interaction, pretty much immediately they start sending some calming signals, and it's their attempt to resolve any potential conflict before it even happens. It's kind of their way of saying, I'm over here, I'm cool, everything's okay. As you can see in these two photos at the bottom, we have sniffing the ground and looking away. Some additional calming signals you'll see in these photos is lifting up of the front paw, licking lips, yawning, and again averting our gaze. Okay, so we know that our dogs tell us everything that we need to know before they take action. What we have to look at is the big picture. Tails, eyes, ears, mouth, and the whole body from tip to tip. All right, let's start with tails. Tails actually speak their own language. It even depends on how a tail is wagging. Just because the tail is wagging does not mean it's a good sign. But first we're going to begin with the tucked tail. Low or tucked tails are often indicators of nervousness, fear, and a lack of confidence. A high or flagged tail is an indicator of high arousal and potentially a signal of threat to an approaching dog. When we talk about the height of the tail, we're usually looking at the base of the tail connected to the dog's rear. So if you have a dog that has a docked tail, we can get enough information just from the nub on how that dog is feeling. We are moving on to the ears. Now, a relaxed ear is going to look different from breed to breed, as all breeds have their own unique, distinct features. When we see ears that are flattened, pulled back, or pulled down, we can tell that a dog may be feeling frightened, fearful, or threatened. Ears that are up and forward and potentially twitching can signal that a dog is alert and focused. It can also signal a threat if combined with body weight being forward. Dogs who have cropped ears are often at a disadvantage when it comes to communicating. A relaxed dog typically exhibits soft almond-shaped eyes. Eyes can be particularly expressive in many ways, but dilated or enlarged pupils can be a signal of arousal, focus, stress, and uncertainty. Wide eyes can be a signal of arousal and focus and or stress, both good and bad. Don't forget, some breeds just automatically have that wide-eyed expression. What we call whale eye, where you can see the white of the eyes combined with a furrowed brow and avoiding eye contact, are very solid signals that a dog is feeling uncomfortable, fearful, trying to send you a signal that they need space and that they're very unsure of the situation. Moving on to mouths. Dogs pant when they are happy, excited, cooling down, or relaxing. A pant, also referred to as a smile, is typically combined with a soft face, squinty eyes. Fun fact, dogs can laugh. It is a very fast, shallow pant. A dog with a closed or tight mouth is feeling uncertain about the situation, and if they feel threatened, may need to act defensively. Dogs also pant when they are stressed, scared, or in pain. This pant is typically combined with ears back, wide eyes, and tension around the commissure. You'll see that the dog's lips become straight and have more tension, along with that curvature in the back becomes further and further back on the face as you see more teeth. When we get to the point where the dog is furrowing their brows, scrunching up their nose, and rolling back their lips to show teeth, we're kind of at our wits' end. I've done everything I can to tell you I need space, I'm not comfortable. Please stop and don't make me use these. You can see the picture in the bottom right-hand side. The dog's mouth is open and the tongue is pulled in. This dog is ready to bite. When dogs are frightened or intimidated, they may make themselves smaller to display that they are no harm. Stiff and forward body posture may signal a dog who is alert or aroused, or sometimes signifies a confident dog that is willing to assert himself. Let's just take a moment and really recognize the fact that dog body language and behavior is how our dogs communicate to us about how they perceive the situation and the moment that they are in. It can be really alarming when a dog starts growling and rolling back their lips and showing their teeth. I'm sure that they've sent signals before that, and that's their last ditch effort to let us know, hey, I really need space. I'm really worried. I really need you to stop. This is my last ditch effort. I'm doing everything I can to tell you how I feel. We need to stop. We need to listen. We need to recognize what's going on. If we don't respect what the dog is telling us, then we're forcing them to have to do something they don't really want to do. So we kind of need to look at it on a brighter note that it is communication. Okay, I hear you. I got it. If we punish those things, then we have a dog that goes from zero to bite because they have no choice and there's no warning at all. So instead, let's, recognize everything that the dog is giving us, figure out how can we change this dog's mind about this situation, what do we need to do to help this dog, and listen to what they're saying instead of punishing them for what they're saying. As you can probably tell, I'm really passionate about that subject and, listening to dogs communicating. But let's go ahead and move forward and let's look at some photos and see what are these dogs saying to you. This pup is speaking volumes. This dog is trying to get smaller. As you can see, it's doing what we call melting. The ears are down and back. The pupils are dilated. The mouth is closed and tight. I'm sure that tail is pretty far under. This dog is obviously fearful and very uncertain about whatever is coming its way or whatever it's keeping its eye on there. So how would you handle this situation? So in this photo, this dog's pretty moderate. He's obviously pretty focused on something. I'm going to speculate he was, stopped in his tracks and is checking maybe the photographer out. is really interested on what's going on and sizing up the situation. Little body weight is forward, his mouth is closed. This dog is definitely thinking about, what's going on right now and how he might potentially need to handle it, but he's really not ready to act in any specific way. This dog here is the working dog at its best, highly focused on something in its environment. This dog is so focused, it's not breathing. It's not laying down, relaxing by any means. As you can see, all feet are underneath and ready to go at any fraction of a second to go herd that sheep back where it needs to be, herd those children, do whatever it needs to do to control its environment. Okay, so we've gone over some dog body language, and everybody should have a pretty good idea of the bigger signs to be looking for so that you can understand as you enter a kennel how a dog's feeling as you're going on a walk, how you can interact and participate that, and kind of set those dogs up for success a little bit along the way. One of the biggest ways that we need to be conscious of ourselves as we interact with the animals is through our own body language. Dogs are a lot like us, we're drawn to people who are happy and confident, look like they know what they're doing, want to be there. In the case of a fearful dog, a person who looks like they're going to be gentle and kind and quiet and patient. Of course, they're not going to be so keen on the guy that's got their arms crossed across their chest and is walking like they've just had a horrible day and doesn't really want to be here. I just did this because I said I would, and let's just get this over with. No one wants to spend time with that guy, not even a dog. So just be really conscious about how you present yourself as you're walking around the shelter and how you're interacting with the dogs. They're going to kind of mirror what you give them. And likewise with the other end of the leash, if you go in a kennel and you get a dog and you're like, I don't know this dog, I'm not sure, I hope this dog isn't reactive, I hope, I hope everything goes okay, you're probably going to struggle a little bit on that walk. It's probably not going to be your most successful walk. If you can go in and you can start it out like, hey, we got this, bud. I got your back. We're going to do this together. You have a friendly little conversation along the way. You feel real confident with your handling skills. You've got your leash in the right place and you're ready to go. Maybe even a little assertive. You're just like, hey, puppy, we're going this way. Don't ask. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. The dog is going to act in kind. So, we do send our emotions down the leash. Let's send the good ones, the friendly, confident, I got your back kind of emotions, and it'll go a whole lot better. Practice makes perfect. That can go either way for the good and the bad behaviors. I mean, think about it. A person who smokes, the more they smoke, the better they get at it, the harder it is to stop. A person who runs and wants to become a marathon runner, the more they practice, the more they reach their goal, the better they feel about themselves, and the less likely they are to stop and do something else. So a good doggy example is if I leave the bathroom trash out and it's full of body smelly good stuff, then the more they practice getting in there and having a good time, the better they are going to get at it, and that's going to be a really strong bad habit. If I put the trash away and I keep all those body smelly good things where they can't get them, they're going to smell them, they're going to know they're there, but it's not going to be a big deal. We're not going to get to practice that behavior. If I leave the trash out one day, it's probably not going to be nearly as interesting or necessary for the dog to get into as it was before. So just something to think about, but practice does make perfect in both habits and skills. Dogs do what works, what's rewarding. If jumping and barking is what gets that dog out of the kennel and gets them some freedom, then you're going to see jumping and barking happen in higher frequency as you walk by, hoping that that time is the time you're going to open that gate. So we're going to try something different. We are going to try click or treat to calm. This brings down arousal and levels of stress in our shelter. This reinforces appropriate behaviors like 4 on the floor or sit and wait. This builds up confidence for the timid dog as they now have an expectation to meet and can be rewarded for it. This also allows handlers to work with several dogs at a time. You can walk down the aisle of the kennels or stand in the center and run from dog to dog who are displaying the appropriate behavior. We should try to practice click or treat to calm no matter what our goal is in the kennel. If we see good behavior, we need to reward it almost every single time. Entering a kennel. Take a moment to observe. Every day is a new day, and it is important to understand how an animal may be feeling: joyful, tired, aroused, and maybe nervous. Open the door inward, encouraging the animal to move backward into the kennel or behind the door. Speak to the animal in a calm and happy voice. Enter the kennel quickly with a sideways orientation to the animal. This is less confrontational, as they may be concerned as why you are coming in. If the animal is overly excited or nervous, play Go Find It, also known as treat and retreat. This allows the animal to move away from you while getting a space with a reward, as well as the choice to return to play. Do not kneel or get face to face to calm the animal unless they are willing and initiating for interaction. This is for your safety. In the next slide, you will see a video demonstrating with instructions on how to enter a kennel.
So when we're opening the kennel to go in with the dog, the door will go both ways, so we want to make sure that we always push it inwards, because if we go out, we have space for the dog to escape. The kennel, the dog's right in the front. You can take a treat and toss it back to give yourself some space. We push inward, only as much as we need to squeeze in. Close it right away. And then we can toss a couple of treats back to give our dog some space, and we can do whatever we need to do in here.
Putting on a harness. Locate the back loop strap of the harness. Hold the back strap in one hand as if you were to slip it over the dog's head. Put treats in your free hand and put the free hand through the harness from the front. The harness can now hang on the forearm of your hand with treats. Approach the side of the dog and offer your treat hand with a flat palm. While the animal is eating treats, slip the harness over their head. Place several treats on the ground in front of the animal. While standing on the side of the animal, secure the belly strap. Note, if the leash is already attached to the harness before putting the harness on, the animal and you will be ready to go.
Alright, so putting a harness on, you want to find the head loop, take some treats with one hand, and we're going to guide him into it. So treat to the nose, and he's eating as I'm pulling it over. Good job! And then we can take a few and sprinkle on the floor, go under the leg, and click. And then I'm going to turn him around and do the same thing on the other side. Sometimes they eat faster than you can clip, so you just toss a few more. It's important to be patient. Good boy!
When you are moving a dog a short distance, either to the meet and greet room or potentially another kennel, you may be only using a slip leash. You can also make a slip leash into a harness. Follow the steps below. As usual, communication is a priority. We can reduce the incidence of run-ins, fear, stress, and practicing bad behavior. So when entering through doorways, going outside, coming inside, please use caution and be sure you're calling out dog coming or any relevant information that might help others on the other side. Peas to the people. Practice. Nobody gets it right the first time. Patience. So many things are going on in the shelter, it can be hard to focus for both people and animals. Persistence and consistency will get you where you want to be. Possibilities. There is always more than one way to reach a goal and room to learn new things along the way. Thank you for all that you do, and don't forget to have fun.